What's up, everybody? Rustyman here, and this is Game Talk. I am joined, as always, by Silvawolf.
G'day, guys.
So, it's been a busy week in gaming, both releases and news. So, we're going to jump into it pretty quickly this week, I think. And I'll ask you to head it off, to start it off, should I say, with For Honor. Give us your impressions on For Honor. How far are you in?
I'm probably in the campaign, 3 or 4 missions in. It's really good. I love the campaign.
I hear it's very cinematic.
It is. It is very cinematic. Far out decapitations, all that sort of stuff, just the way it sort of rolls out. And, of course, the cinematic footage itself. Such a clean game.
Okay.
It just feels really nice to play. Like I said, campaign-wise, it's a really nice game.
Okay. Because the way I had it explained to me by someone else who's played it was you start off with a campaign. The first one, I think, was the Knights, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
And then once you finish the Knights campaign, you get the Vikings campaign. Then one would assume you get the Samurai campaign after that.
Yeah, you would assume so. Unfortunately, I'm a bit of a jump to conclusions kind of guy, and I wanted to be a knight from the start. So I learnt a little about the knight and then jumped straight over into multi.
Okay. And how'd you find multi?
Interesting. Multi is on a whole different level to campaign. I play campaign on hard because it's a fairly standard sort of hack and slash kind of game.
Yeah, I've heard it's somewhat Dynasty Warriors-esque on the lower difficulty.
It seems, yeah.
A bit deeper than that.
Aspects of it is in, like, you run into the masses and you swing your sword and all that sort of jazz and minions go flying everywhere.
Okay.
And then you do encounter your bigger bosses, but that's where it changes.
Okay.
Once you end up in the duel with the bigger characters, and that's where I spend most of my time in multi, in the duels.
Yeah.
It's really cool. The counters, the blocks, the decapitation, it's really cool.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard it's pretty fun. You've also confirmed that this morning.
Indeed.
I've been told it's like a third-person action game, but it has more of a almost fighting game feel to it because of the deepness of the systems, the countering, the blocking.
Yes.
Would you agree with that assumption?
It's very immersive. Very immersive. I'd agree with that.
Okay. Well, that's not a bad thing. I mean, everything I've seen of it pre-release looks good. They've had a few betas, open ones, closed ones, everything in between. But for me personally, I've never been a beta guy because I just I'll play the game when it's released. And I don't want to be burnt out on it before it comes out because I've spent so much time in the betas.
Yes, fair enough.
Because
I think
of course,
betas are okay in some regards. I mean, depending on what the beta is for. I mean, if you consider that if it's a game that you're already interested in, then it's really not going to matter if you play the beta.
Like I've got Ghost Recon Wildlands drops early March. They have an open beta starting next weekend that you can start preloading from tomorrow.
Okay.
But since I'm already buying it, I'm good. I'm probably not going to jump on in because I've still got enough games of my own at the moment to play.
Yeah, I think betas are great when you consider the fact, I mean, we've touched on before how much it costs in Australia to buy a game.
Yeah, it's like a demo.
If you think of it as an immersive demo, most demos only have like limited range of play, whereas betas have still limited when compared to the full game, but they're usually broader. They've got much more interaction available.
Yeah.
So if you look at it like that, it really helps you decide whether you want to go out and buy a game or not.
That's true. But I mean, for the most part, I buy everything, so...
That's true.
So betas for me seem like, let's spend time in an unfinished game that I'm going to play in 3 weeks. Because as I said, the final game comes out on the 3rd. So we're looking, or the 6th, or somewhere in there. So we're looking like 2 weeks and 2 days or something. So maybe I can wait. And even to call that a beta is pretty out there. A beta, I would say, would be about 2 months out so they could actually make changes to the final game based on the feedback. This is just a demo and to test how their servers are going to handle it before it comes out, which is fine. It's going to happen.
Look, you'd rather them have some idea of how the servers are going to handle it. I mean,
you don't want a Diablo 3 dead server situation or a Destiny launch situation.
That's exactly right.
Because they never work.
Yeah, that would be really unpleasant.
I mean, you'd hope they have some knowledge now, considering they launched the Division last year in the same spot, like time-wise.
Yep.
So they've got to have some base of knowledge for where this is going to go. But at the same point, they don't want to overestimate in servers and everything and spend more money than they have to.
That's exactly right. But then, if they don't, and their fan base ends up getting really miffed because they all jump on at the same time and it craps itself.
Yeah, it's not going to be great for your brand recognition at that point. Not good at all. So the second game we both actually spent some time with this week was Sniper Elite 4. And by saying sometime, you could say we beat it.
You could.
In 2 sittings, I might add.
It was a good game.
Very good game. And it's funny, it was a bit short, but that's what Sniper Elite's always kind of done. They leave you wanting more. Instead of a lot of games where they give you too much, and by the end you're thinking, can this just be over with? With Sniper Elite, since we beat it the other day, I've thought about going back 3 times already.
Yeah. I've felt that there is definitely more we could do in Sniper Elite 4. I mean, not just the campaign mode either. I mean, we did the campaign mode. We tried out some of the other modes.
Yeah, campaign mode is 8 missions long. 7 of them take about an hour, and the second mission in the game took about half an hour. So it's about 7.5 hours long on the normal difficulty. Not trying to tag every enemy and do it perfectly, but...
And we did it co-op. I mean, if you're doing it single play, it would probably be even longer.
Maybe they might
Depending
actually
on how you
have
wanna play it.
less enemies on there. Maybe they beefed it up because we were 2 of us.
Maybe.
Because if they didn't, I mean, imagine... Because you can play that like 4 players online through co-op.
Yeah.
So you'd have to add more enemies or it's just going to get ridiculous.
Yeah, you would.
But overall, good game.
Very good.
Just a little short, but there's still a lot more we could do in it.
There is, but I mean, the sniping mechanics, the ability to swap your weapons around, they just felt really good. I didn't have any problems with the way that the game worked, and I'm a fan. I mean, this is the first Sniper Elite of the Sniper Elite series that I've played.
Yeah, I've played 2, really and Jimmer 1 has played all 4.
Okay.
So he's definitely a fan. He played all 3 until he came here the other day, and he played the 4th one for a bit, and now he's going to pick it up on PlayStation, he says, and part of that is because he wants to prove he can actually snipe, because his first hour, not so great.
Funny lad.
Yeah, a good series overall.
It is.
They have another spin-off series, which is kind of like a reskin of the game, and it's a zombie game.
We all like zombie games.
Yeah, it's called. They re-released it recently. It's called the Zombie Army Trilogy, which was Sniper Elite 1, 2, and 3 with the zombie twist on it, including killing Hitler in one of the games, and he comes back as the leader of the zombies as a zombie.
Of course.
So it's a little bit more tongue-in-cheek, that one, obviously, compared to the one we played.
Yep.
And the third game, we're talking AAA games, because there was a lot of indie games as well that I have not had a chance to get to this week. But AAA game that came out this week, kind of, was Halo Wars 2. Because if you pre-order it, the Ultimate Edition unlocked on Friday. If you don't pre-order the Ultimate Edition, you get the normal edition. It doesn't unlock till Tuesday. So this podcast will come out a day before it actually releases, which is pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
So you were asking before we started recording about Halo. So what was your opinion of the Halo franchise again?
Well, look, I haven't. Halo isn't one of those games that just grabbed me. It's never been something that appealed as such. Old school RPG, MMO style games. Like that's where I tend to spend my time. Open world kind of thing is my bag. But the Halo games, that I've enjoyed playing them, and so there's absolutely nothing wrong with them. I really do enjoy my time playing them.
Yep.
But it just doesn't grab at me. So I've not played any of the Halo Wars, for instance. So I was asking, what is it like? What's it about? What's the premise? What is it that's different in this Halo game that's different from others?
Okay, well, the Halo Wars franchise is not first-person shooter.
Okay.
It's a real-time strategy game.
Okay.
Think StarCraft or Age of Empires.
Right, as in like
build a base.
Old school. What was it? World of Warcraft.
Just standard Warcraft.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. It's a real-time strategy game set in the Halo universe. So you can build the units that you would normally see in the game.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I thoroughly enjoyed the first one. While not a perfect game, it was fun. It's something they've put a lot of effort into trying to make an RTS game fun with a controller.
Yeah.
Because you don't have a lot of buttons. You can't scroll around as fast as you could on a mouse.
Yeah.
They've had to do a little bit of adjusting to make it doable.
Yeah.
But the second one, as I said, I started playing that on Friday. It looks to be, again, another short game because I'm 8 missions in about 3 hours, 3.5, of 12.
Of 12, okay.
So, 60%, 66% through the game in about 4 hours.
Is it good, though? Are you enjoying it?
Really enjoying it. And again, I've got the desire to play it again, through the campaign, because this one actually allows you, I don't think the first one did, I'm not 100% on that, don't quote me on it, but it allows you to play the campaign co-op.
Okay.
And since you said you've just finished downloading it, it means it's something we can actually do.
Sounds good to me.
Nice, easy way for you to ease yourself into the series a bit and have some assistance there.
I did enjoy the original Warcraft style of game. It was fun stuff. It's similar to that. Yeah, it sounds great.
Yeah, it is. It's thoroughly enjoyable. There is one complaint I have, though, to put out there.
What's that?
They bought in the studio that does great cinematic stuff. It's the Blur Studio is their name. They do great stuff. They start off the game with one. There's one after the first mission, second mission, and then it stops. And now there's no cinematics. You get a loading screen where there's just voiceovers explaining what you're doing in the mission. And I've gone to the menu and I'm like, oh, maybe it's my internet connection. Maybe they're streaming these video things and it's not getting it. Because I know one of the games recently, it was Quantum Break recently streamed all their video files.
Okay.
So I went to the theater option from the main menu to see, maybe I'm just missing them. And then it said, you've already got 3 of 7. So for a 12 campaign mission, they've got 7 videos.
Okay.
And I just think it's a little, it's not great. I mean, if you're going to have them tell you what you need to do in the mission anyway, why not animate it? You've got the team working on it anyway.
Yeah.
It's kind of, it's crappy, because those videos, they get you right into it. It's like you're watching a sci-fi movie. It's really cool. And then there's the loading screens where you see a person's, a portrait of the person, the text next to it, and then the voiceover doing it. So they've recorded the audio for it too.
Yeah, okay, I see where you're at.
So it's just, it's a little, it's immersion breaking. I found when there was the videos, I would keep playing, enjoying it. When it was just a loading screen with a talking head, I'd look around the room, I'd look at my phone, check the time. You lose that focus because there's not a storytelling element to it. It's just text or a little bit of an audio file. And you think,
let's face it, I mean, if it's a small game, the immersion aspect is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, if a game can pull you in and hold you there, okay, you're less inclined to think about how many hours you've spent playing until you beat it.
Yeah, and as I said, you don't look at your phone, you don't look around the room, you don't get up and walk around a bit. I started to get distracted more.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't holding that attention anymore, which sucks. But then, of course, I hit another cutscene, I think it was around the 7th mission. And I'm like, okay, so we've got cutscenes back again. This is weird. It almost seems like it's a budgetary thing, maybe.
That's the impression I was getting, by the way you were describing it. But just don't know, do you?
No, you don't. But yeah, other than that, I'm enjoying the game. Obviously, I'm not going to get into any story spoilers the day before the game actually officially comes out.
That would be a good idea.
Because that would be a bit rude, wouldn't it?
Let's avoid that.
Yeah, let's avoid the story spoilers on that one. But the mechanics of it are there. They seem to have been improved over the last game, which I have just recently replayed, so I would know. But yeah, so it's a step up. The difficulty's definitely gone up on the last game, because in the last game, if I just manufactured, say, for example, I'm like, this mission, I'll just manufacture a bunch of tanks. So I'd build nothing but tanks till I hit population cap, and then go roll over the map, and I've won. And then the next map, I'll be like, I'll build nothing but these gunships, and then roll over the map, and I'm done. Whereas this one, if you do that, you're going to die.
Okay.
They're going to kill you because they have, instead of their squads being made up of 1 or 2 style of units, they're now made up of a different vast selection of units. And the whole game works on a paper, scissors, rock style system. Vehicles beat ground, air beats vehicle, and people can beat, and ground can beat air.
Right.
So, as I said, like a rock, paper, scissors sort of system.
I got you.
So, yeah, if you go in there with one type, you're in trouble. You need to have more of an eclectic bunch. And also, I found they will scout and launch attacks on your base more than they did last time.
Sounds pretty cool.
On the same difficulty levels. It's a good improvement. It's definitely pushed me back on my heels a few times. I've had to retreat back from a battle, pump the units back up again, and then head back out. Where normally it would have, as I said, I would have just gone, walk in, done, next mission, over.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, I had to retreat back and then go back in.
Let's face it, when you're playing that type of game, though, if you could get away with just producing one type of thing, it really does take a lot of the enjoyment out of the game.
Absolutely, which I found was happening towards the end of the first game when I found that system was pretty fundamentally flawed,
Yeah, I bet.
Whereas this one, it's a lot more thought out. You've also got, like, boss enemies, if you will, which is pretty cool.
Okay.
Whereas in the last one, it was just like you're taking on vanilla enemies for the most part, with a few rare exceptions. This one actually has, like, a boss battle.
Cool.
Which is somewhat like your Destiny or your WoW ones, where, for example, this is not spoiler-related to really that bad. You'll be attacking a guy, and then he'll, like, send out shockwaves from him, so you've got to move out of the zone so you don't get blown away.
Okay, well, that's pretty cool.
So, again, you've got to think about moving your units. You can't just click, attack, and then check out again.
Yeah, and then leave that and see if they win or lose.
Yeah, you've got to pay attention to it.
So it's, as the name suggests, then it's strategy-based. That's pretty cool.
It is. And you've got, for example, there's certain points on the map you want to capture, like power plants or something.
Yep.
And in the other game, you'd capture them, then they'd never, ever come back at you. Like, once you've captured it, it's yours, game over.
Yep.
But this time, it'll be like, they're taking back this.
Oh, no.
Okay, you son of a bitch, I need that. So it's good. Like, they've made very big changes, and it's for the better so far, from what I've seen, with some minor complaints I'll get into a bit more next week.
Okay. I suppose, best to finish the game and wait for release, and then you'll be able to go more into detail.
Exactly. I'm still trying to talk around the edges a bit here.
Yep.
Which is, the respectable thing to do.
Because it's before release, yeah, probably.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, it's an official release. They released it. You get the 4-day early access if you paid the for the Ultimate Edition. So
True.
It's officially released. It's not like people can't go and buy it if they were that into it. But anyway, that brings us to an end on our quick impressions of those 3 games, and we should jump into the news.
It's been an interesting news week.
It has, with a bit of Nintendo Switch stuff coming through. Again, not looking good for them, unfortunately. So let's cover a bit of Nintendo news to get it out of the way nice and early.
Let's do that.
Yeah, so before we get into some of the bigger stuff, the Nintendo did announce that their eShop purchases will now be account-linked, not console-linked, which made a lot of people happier because, of course, they'd normally buy a game or something and then maybe their console would die, water damage, they sold it because they needed the rent money, they get it back, and then they have to buy their digital stuff again.
Yeah.
Which sucks. But yeah, thankfully it all came out this week. Let's see, what did it say? Here it is. Your Nintendo account contains your Nintendo eShop purchase history and current balance. By relinking your Nintendo account after initializing the console, it will be possible to re-download any software or DLC purchased using that account. Big change from the last one.
It is. I mean, let's face it. When we're talking things like limited space as well,
yeah,
the ability to freely delete and re-download games is going to be a big thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the biggest issue, of course, was you'd be paying a premium already. Say, I think it was in Australia, it was $10 for a Super Nintendo remaster on their console, which is not even remastered. It's literally just like a ROM running in through their own emulated system. So you pay $10 for it. It's a 25-year-old game, at least. And then
I feel old.
You can't play it again if you've changed console or deleted it to clear space.
True.
So this is definitely a step in the right direction for them.
Yeah, most certainly.
Speaking of which, there was the Nintendo Switch is now out in the wild. A guy has claimed that he got access to one. A NeoGAF user has gotten access after a retailer apparently gave it to him early.
Yeah, he claims it didn't fall off the back of the truck.
Yeah, I mean, if you can believe that. I guess we'll find out on that one. But he decided to upload video of the OS running through that. Apparently, from the looks of it, the UI, user interface for those at home, is running with no lag and is a huge improvement on the Wii U, which is nice to see because the Wii U was like really, really clunky to move around, which was a concern. And obviously Nintendo not happy that this footage is out in the wild already and has actually pulled it from YouTube with takedown requests. But there is mirrors already online for people to go and find it.
Gonna say that the mirrors are already up.
Yeah, once it's published, it's not coming back. It's out there, buddy. But yeah, he said, and his quote is, it isn't like I grabbed it off the back of a truck or anything. I just happened to get lucky because unnamed store decided to ship early for whatever reason. I mean, obviously he's not going to turn around and dog the store that helped him out.
No, definitely not.
Because that wouldn't be a smart idea. But yes, so that's the Nintendo Switch news. We got one more here, I think. Apart from a few releases are also going to the Switch, which is not a bad thing for them. But a first look of FIFA on the Switch. Now, did you have a look at this video?
I did. If you could call it a video of FIFA, it was, what, a whole of 7 seconds long?
Well, it's 31 seconds, and apparently the footage starts 15 seconds in.
There you go.
And you don't see a lot. I'm currently
and what
checking
you
the
do
video
see
out now.
cinematic, you don't see gameplay.
You see glimpses of gameplay. You do see a bit of field shots on here. But from what I'm seeing, even the cinematics, it does look to be a little downgraded. They did come out this week and say that they're not using a PS3 or 360 version, that they're making a port just for the Switch. So that was a positive, but we'll see if they deliver. Of course, when they announced it during the Twitch presentation, they said EA Sports FIFA on Nintendo Switch will be the most immersive, social, and authentic sports game ever created for Nintendo players. Which wouldn't be hard, because for the most part, they skip every Nintendo system.
Yeah.
So, of course.
So you can release it, doesn't it still be true?
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, it says it's custom built, obviously. From people's assessment of it, they say it obviously it's not onto the level of the PS4 and Xbox One version, but it was just an improvement to lighting and motion blur, apparently, on the Xbox One and PS4 version. So not the worst news for possible Switch owners.
It's not the worst news, but I'm skeptical to start with. Like, I tend to be, I don't know, a little uncertain about things like this when the real footage they showed of gameplay, if it was there, if you could call it that.
Yeah, there was glimpses.
Was minimal, So.
Well, it wasn't like they put it out and said, "Here's your FIFA gameplay." It was kind of just in the middle of another Nintendo advert by the looks of it.
That's pretty much what I thought. No, it was just so small and just the way it was put together. It really didn't do much to advertise.
No, not at all. Not great, but what are you going to do? And of course, we've actually got a Nintendo game, or a Nintendo DS game, making the jump forward quite far, because this came out in 2008. And this year, 9 years after its original release, it will be coming to PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. This game is Lock's Quest. Now, I gotta say, I never played it.
No, I remember the name. I don't believe I ever had.
Okay, well, I'm looking at the trailer for it now. It seems to be like a turn-based strategy game. Here we go. Tower defense meets RTS and RPG, is what the quote in the video says.
Fair enough.
So, it looks interesting. I'm hoping it gets a bit of a graphics upgrade, because that looks very, very DS, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, I know. Wow, that was rough. But 9 years in the making, they finally decided to do something else with that game. It's a big gap. I don't know why it took them so long, but hey, what are you going to do?
It is.
And now we've got a few video game launch dates were set. Here we go. The Crash Insane trilogy was dated for June 30th.
Have you seen the work they've done to the graphics on that one, though?
Yeah, he looks very different, doesn't he?
But in a good way.
Yeah.
I personally think that it looks, if they sort of keep along those wavelengths, the way they're going, I think that they'll keep true to the original game.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Insane trilogy is Crash Bandicoot 1, 2, Cortex Strikes Back, and Warped.
Yes,
So
but it just looks really good. I think that, like, for instance, Final Fantasy VII. I go back to Final Fantasy VII, I remember exactly what it was like when I played it. And I go back now and I think, I really love the storyline, but the graphics aren't as good as I remember.
Yeah, I went back and played Crash a few years back and thought the same thing.
You see, and it's the way they're doing the graphics for Crash now. It's sort of like, okay, that's how I would imagine him looking. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you remember it looking, right?
Yeah, totally. And that's how it should be.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that looks like a good port that they're putting a lot of effort into.
I agree.
Also announced the release date this week, we got Snake Pass. Snake Pass is coming to the Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and PC on the 29th of March in Europe and 28th of March in North America. Now, I've never seen this game before. I've never even heard of this game before. Snake Pass. Have you heard of it before?
Because do we like?
It looks pretty cool. from what I'm seeing. Did you watch the video for it?
Say what?
Snake
Sorry?
Pass.
I did watch the video for it, and like I said, it does look very Banjo-Kazooie style.
Yeah.
That's the impression I got from it.
I think it's a little more physics heavy.
Yeah, it would be.
With the
designer
element
said?
of
They said
being the
once
snake.
people begin to think like a snake, they get there's more they can do, and it becomes more immersive or something.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. Which is really cool, in fact. But the thing I got from watching it was that anyone who liked the Banjo-Kazooie style of game,
Yeah.
the way the world was rendered and the way you interacted with everything, I think this is the kind of game that would appeal to you.
Yeah, I mean, the one that most people are looking out for is a lot of the Banjo-Kazooie team are building a game now, which was kickstarted last year or the year before, and it comes out this year. It is called Yooka-Laylee, and it's got 2 characters again, like your Banjo-Kazooie, and it's again obviously got a musical twist to it with Yooka-Laylee.
Yes.
That one's coming out this year. That one is probably the one most people that are into that sort of genre are probably going to resonate towards later this year. But Snake Pass, in the meantime, dropping at the end of March there. I'm sure it'll get some people into it, but it's a weird-looking game, that one.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, it's not... I didn't get too heavy into Banjo-Kazooie myself. It wasn't something that really resonated with me.
Yeah.
No, Zelda on the other hand, that's more me. But Banjo-Kazooie, no. And Snake Pass, I think, probably not me either.
Yeah, I'm feeling the same thing.
But the way that the world's designed and the gameplay itself, I could see that it would be an enjoyable game if it was the type of thing you like to play.
Yeah. Speaking of things I like to play, here's the next game that I'm really looking forward to. It's an action RPG game like your Diablo.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Viking, Wolves
Viking?
of Midgard.
That's
Yes, it's dropping in March. Doesn't have an actual date by the looks of it. Oh, no, we got one. Here it is. March 24th in Europe and March 28th in North America. So I'm assuming we'll be on the 24th.
I'm looking forward to playing.
Yeah, the gameplay for this looks very Diablo-like, but with the Viking mythology to it.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to be pretty excited to play that one.
I will agree wholeheartedly. This is a game that really gets your attention.
Absolutely. It says, as it says in the video here, you get to battle mighty bosses, and even the user interface overall reminds me of Diablo, just looking at it.
I was thinking the same thing. As I watched it, that's what I got.
Yeah.
I thought, this is really cool. It's Diablo tends to be a little dark at times, and I don't mean dark as in dark storyline. I mean, I'd be a fan of that. But
you mean like there's a little bit of a light coming out of your character in the middle of the screen, the rest of it's dimly lit.
Exactly right.
Yep.
Exactly right. However, this game really doesn't focus on that strategy for...
For the most part of what I've seen in this trailer here, no. It doesn't. There's
looks
a boss
fantastic.
battle that seems to be... It's running very, very well. Like, there is no issues there. It runs very smoothly. It looks very good. I'm very excited for this game, to be honest with you. And it's only a month away now. 5 weeks.
That's exciting stuff. There are very few games that get me. I mean, you know me. I've been a big Diablo fan for a very long time.
True.
At one stage, I believe I'd managed to rope when Diablo 3 first came out, maybe 5 other people into playing the game. I mean...
Yeah, I think so.
It was fun. But this Viking, it looks immersive. It looks fantastic. The graphics are stunning. There was brief footage of the skill trees and various things like that.
There was, yep. And you can also build and upgrade your village, which sounds pretty exciting too.
It does. I mean...
You've got to think that Diablo kind of had that too. The third one. And even the second. Not so much sure about the first. But where you would add more people to your town and upgrade those. What was that?
The first Diablo you couldn't. You just interacted with the people.
Yeah. But the second and third, you'd bring them back to your town. And in the third one, you could upgrade them. Remember that?
No.
Yeah, in the third one, you bring the blacksmith back, and then you'd spend money to upgrade his skills.
Upgrade the stores, yeah, of course.
Yeah. So that could be what they mean when they say upgrade.
Okay.
But I guess we will find out at the end of March.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Absolutely. Also, this one's not technically announced for coming out. This one's already out. Was the backwards compatibility for Skate 3. is on EA's Access Vault now, which is pretty cool, considering the game was so popular that it had to go into reprinting last year.
I've never played Skate 3, but I spent a good amount of time watching the funny glitches and stunts that people were doing.
Yep.
They were just too funny. They really were.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. PewDiePie did it on his channel, and then it was so popular that they did have to do a reprint of the game.
That's impressive.
So this coming back to backwards compatibility is a good thing. It's also a good sign for those holding out hope for a Skate 4. If you look at a lot of EA's Instagram posts and some of their other social media stuff, the only replies to it are hashtag Skate 4, because people are that keen to get it done.
Okay.
And I tell you what, their community manager pissed off a lot of people 2 weeks ago.
How so?
He tweeted out hashtag Skate 4.
Oh, no.
People took that as a confirmation it was being made, and he's like, no, I was just messing around.
Yeah.
So, not good.
Hilarious.
I think a Skate 4 will happen eventually. They've just got to find a way to do it where it's financially going to work for them. Because originally, I think Skate 3, when it first came out, didn't sell too well.
No, I was going to say if maybe Skate 3 is like a precursor, or
Test
a way
the
of,
waters.
It's a way of attracting more fans to the game and see what fan base they could actually get on multiple platforms.
Yeah.
To make it a fair judgment and assessment on whether they want to release or create a Skate 4.
Yeah. Understandable. You know, they've got to test the waters to see if it's worth it. Because now that it's on the Xbox backwards compatibility list, it can be purchased, again, digitally, on any Xbox.
Cool.
So they can also make money from it there. And anyone who owns it can just put it in their Xbox One and it'll work as well. City Skylines, which is basically a Sim City, if you will. Game came out for PC. Oh, jeez. Couldn't tell you when that one came out, actually, if at a wild guess. Let's Google that one up while I talk to you. It came out on the 10th of March, 2015. So we're talking 2 years almost. And it was announced that it was coming to Xbox One, Gamescom maybe 2 years ago? End of or a year ago? So now they've actually put out a trailer for it and said, it's coming in spring, which means our autumn, which puts it in the March, April, May section, which is pretty good. I mean, that's
I've never had much to do with The Sims, but I know...
No, this is Sim City. The Sims is when you make your own character and you do whatever.
Yep.
Sim City is when you build a town.
Okay.
You literally build a city, and you've got to take into things like people don't want to buy a house in a neighborhood that has no police. So you've got to build a police station.
It sort of goes in and becomes like a...
it's a city simulator, basically.
Yeah, it's a city sim. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So City Skylines is the same sort of premise, but it's a little bit more open source on the PC, so you can make mods for it easier. It didn't require an always online connection like SimCity did, and their servers died when it first came out. So that one didn't go well for them. That's why a lot of people sort of jumped into other options, which you can understand.
Yeah.
But that's coming this year, which is good. Looking forward to that one. Here we go. Here was an interesting bit of news that came out this week, is that Watch Dogs 2 ending was changed. Ubisoft actually dropped a 10 gig patch, which, by the way, annoyed the shit out of me the other day. And it has changed the ending of the game, basically. The new ending scene apparently takes the form of a recorded phone conversation and comes right after Watch Dogs 2 Final Hacker broadcast, which summarizes the game's ending. So there you go. They've changed the ending, which they think is leading people to... it'll show you where the future location of the series would be. Okay.
Look, I didn't mind the first Watch Dogs. The second one, I don't know. It just didn't pull me through the storyline. It just, nah.
Okay. Well, you might be interested in the next one, because where the coordinates point you towards for the next game, which people have read into it and said this will probably be where the next game's set.
Yep.
In London.
Okay.
Brixton, London. So that'll be interesting. A little bit of a hop over the pond there.
I'd have a look. You know, like I said, I really enjoyed the first Watch Dogs.
Me too.
The second one just didn't grab me. You know, first few missions just didn't keep pulling me through. You know, I was like, if I could put it down and I've got other games I could be playing. You know, I mean, it's got to grab at me.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I found that Watch Dogs 2 just.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I've given Watch Dogs 2 enough time. I was just very busy when it came out, and I still haven't got back to it. Got a friend who's pretty much at the end of it now. He's been enjoying it, so I'll have to give it some time, because I found it was a little suffocating when you got out of that first few missions. You load up your map, and there's 2.2 million icons on the map. Here, you can go here. You could do this. You could do that. You could do... Dude, just give me an option to turn that shit off and just give me story mode. Just want to go story mission, story mission, story mission. You know, give me that option.
Legit.
I'm here for the story, not the side shit that I don't care about.
Fair enough.
Too much stuff to try and deal with, unfortunately. Now,
Yeah, I'm a fan of open world style, so I don't mind usually going through side missions.
Yeah, I love open. I do love the open world.
There has to be that direct link to the story. There has to be that interest.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and Watch Dogs 2. Maybe it's just that I've not given it enough time, but it's really not doing it for me.
Okay, fair enough. So we talked about Double Fine last week because one of their games was coming out soon.
We did.
Yes, we did. And they're one of their other franchises, Costume Quest, which they've released 2 games for, both around the Halloween time, is actually getting a TV show, which is going to be on Amazon Prime, done by the guys who do Adventure Time and Netflix upcoming Castlevania reboot. Should be good, hopefully. But I've not played Costume Quest, so I'm not sure if I'll have a connection to it at all. But here we go. Here's a quick little review at the end of this article. It was the original Costume Quest is up there with Double Fine's best work. Might be worth checking out.
Maybe.
Yeah. Oh, well, apparently, there's always talk of a Costume Quest 3, and I'm assuming that'll probably launch around the time of the TV show to give it that extra bit of a rub, if you will. So, hopefully that goes well and sells well for them. Speaking of sales, here we go. That was a nice little segue there. Terraria, which is it's basically a 2D Minecraft, if you will. It has crossed the $20 million sales mark. Now, this game actually came out before Minecraft by about 6 months. So it's good that it's made some sales here.
Certainly.
Have you ever played it?
I have not.
Okay. It's not bad. I mean, I think the 2D thing, when you've played the 3D Minecraft, is kind of a letdown. And there's a bit of a steep learning curve when you first get into it. The game itself, though, it seems fun, but we'll find out. As I said, they announced 20 million units sold. Pretty impressive.
I'll have to look it up.
Sale mark.
No doubt there'll be some footage on YouTube somewhere.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the game's also... here we go. The game is out on 360, Xbox One, PS3, PS4, Vita, 3DS, Wii U, iOS, Android, Windows Phone, Amazon mobile devices, and PC, Mac, and Linux. It's on everything.
Yeah.
And they've sold 20 million. So obviously it's short of what... quite short of what Minecraft has sold, but 20 million for an independent studio.
Yes.
Very well done. Not bad at all. Speaking about doing well, Konami.
Yes.
And I'll start this off with hashtag fuck Konami. Is apparently doing quite well. Here we go. They're making a lot of profit, much more than they did in 2015 when it released Metal Gear Solid 5. They did, basically they said they were going to divest in video games. They wanted to focus more on pachinko machines, which are basically like gambling machines over there. And a lot of their money has come from their digital entertainment segment. So, looks like their games have actually paid off for them anyway. With 25 million downloads for Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Link, which has just come out pretty recently. And that's gone well for them. And also another thing here, which I can't even pronounce. Nope, not pronouncing that one right. Has 7 million downloads. It's apparently professional baseball spirits. 7 million downloads.
Okay.
So there you go. They've done well for them. But
well,
Konami can
to be honest, I wasn't expecting them to do too well. But there you go.
Well, from what I hear, they put way too much money into Metal Gear Solid 5 for what it was going to make. Because every time...
To be honest, I haven't played a Metal Gear since whatever the second one was. The second one, the Patriot?
No, shit. That was 4? 3?
I don't know. I played 1 and 2. And after that, it just lost it. Yeah.
Well, apparently every time they went back and said, hey, we need this game to come out, man. What are you doing? Kojima's like, I need more money. Need more time. And, I mean, it got to a point where, like, they were 100 million in the hole in this game.
Oh, jeez.
So they weren't going to sell enough, which is why the whole relationship between the two soured.
Yeah.
And obviously what's going on there, he's now signed. He's got his own studio, and he's signed to make an exclusive for PlayStation.
And of course he is.
Which is good for him. And apparently PlayStation's also partially funding it. So let's hope they can rope him in a bit more than Konami did.
Yes.
Because since he's gone, they seem to be doing a lot better financially.
pretty scary stuff, really.
Yeah. Speaking of scary stuff, Activision announced some layoffs at the studio, of course, behind the recent Call of Duty, which was funny because before it came out, they said, oh yeah, it's okay that our trailer's the most disliked. The game pre-sales are still tracking to be our biggest game ever.
Of course they are.
So let's argue that point was a lie. But yes, they've laid off 5% of its workforce. Cuts coming from the corporate office, Infinity Ward, and Beanox, the studio behind Spider-Man and Skylanders, which we covered last week, aren't bringing out a game this year.
Probably because Whole Planet has sacked them.
Yeah, so they're getting 5% of that is probably gone. You've lost some of Infinity Ward, and they're not going to put out a game for 2 more years because the Call of Duty guys are on a 3-year cycle, and they dropped Infinite Warfare last year. So they're not dropping one this November, the November after. It's going to be the one after that. Jeez, that's a long time, man. That's going to be like next console generation by then.
Yeah.
Whew, that's
Maybe
a long
that's
time.
what they're planning.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, though, cutting that, I mean, you've got to cut it off. Cut 5% of that workforce because they're not doing anything for 3 years, really. Well, not going to be making you money for 3 years. Obviously, they're working quite hard behind the scenes. But
particularly if they're aiming for next console or whatnot. I mean, it's really pointless to work on a game that's by the time the next release window opens, they're going to have to start working on the next one anyway. So,
that's true.
Start later, get the process done, and release a better game for it.
Yeah. I mean, they might as well. And you can understand Activision as a publicly traded company after not reaching sales targets for their last game, has to sort of... Someone's got to bear the brunt of that.
Yeah.
For their stock to go back up, they've got to come out and say, oh, we're trimming a bit of the fat here to bump their stock back up.
Which is, I mean, look, it's harsh. I mean, at the end of the day, it's harsh because we're talking about people. But
it is. I mean, the video game industry... The video game industry as a whole is a very gypsy style of industry. You find people won't work, like they won't be doing their 30, 35 years at one company. After a game is shipped, they generally kick out a lot of people because they've got to go back into pre-production, so you don't need your programmers or anything at that point. You need your graphics designers and you need your writers. So generally a lot of people then go out on the open market, find a job elsewhere, and as I said, that's not just at one company since it's done everywhere. So when you're actually not in pre-production anymore and you go into regular production, surely someone else has been given the ass somewhere else. So they all rotate around, it's a horrible culture.
I don't know. I think it could appeal if that was the kind of work you liked to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it lacks steady permanent employment, but...
yeah, because we're not talking about like a studio across the road. You've got to pick your family up and move across the country, which is not going to be appealing.
No.
Because, you got kids in schools, it's a whole thing at that point. Oh, well, what are you going to do?
Sure.
So we've got 2 more bits of news to close it out for this week. We've got PlayStation Now, which was their streaming service. You could stream PS3 games to it, basically.
Okay.
So you could do it on PC. Yeah, so you could stream PS3 games to it. So if you wanted to go through the back catalogue, play things like The Last of Us, not the remastered version, Uncharted, again the same, you could do that through this little device you picked up, or this service, which a lot of devices used, will no longer be working on the PlayStation 3, the Vita, the PlayStation TV, the Sony Bravia TV models, Sony Blu-ray player models, or Samsung TV model. But it'll still work on the PS4 and PC. So it's not like they're shutting it down, but...
No, limiting the...
amount of places you could use it.
Yeah, the places where you can source it.
Yeah, so basically they've come out and said those who are currently subscribed without a PS4 or PC should probably discontinue their subscription by the 15th of July, so their subscription will end prior to the 15th of August when the old platforms are no longer supported. So again, another cancellation, basically cancelling a service. It's not... I'm sure there's a lot of people that use it, but obviously they've got the numbers that say it's not worth it business-wise for the amount of people that are using it to keep it going. They don't make decisions like... They're not going to shut it down if it's making them money, basically.
No, they won't.
Because that's not smart business.
That's poor business. Very
much so. And the last bit of news for the week. Microsoft has announced that they're changing the day they normally do E3. Their press briefing, if you will. Because that's normally on the Monday, US time. And then, what would it be? 6-8 hours later, Sony does theirs.
Yep.
So basically, Microsoft only has the news cycle for 6 to 8 hours, and then it's all Sony. So by moving a day earlier, maybe they're trying to have their own little bit of a press cycle before it all clears out again.
Okay.
Which is not bad, but they've come out and announced it at 2 p.m. Pacific, which, correct me if I'm wrong, it might have been the time that Bethesda ran theirs last year, which is why Bethesda came out with their little tweet afterwards, and it said, E3 Sunday is getting pretty busy, because, obviously, now that Microsoft's in there, here we go, Sunday before E3 getting busy. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Bethesda E3 showcase will still be Sunday PM. Details soon. So a little bit of a jab back at Microsoft there.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Yeah. Well, normally, Microsoft would begin E3 on Monday. Then they have E3 and Ubisoft. Then E3 would do theirs at the end. Sony would do theirs at the end. So you don't really get that full news cycle. And from the looks of this photo, it's got to be their new console is one of the things they're sort of trying to push out that day, the Scorpio. They have said they might talk about it before E3, but they may not. So, by the looks of this photo, maybe they're trying to keep it until E3. Unfortunately, with E3 these days, everything leaks beforehand.
Well, it's a competitive business.
Yeah. The whole industry is filled with leaks, unfortunately. Because last year they leaked that Matt and Trey, the creators of South Park, were in LA again around the conference time, and maybe they're coming in to do something South Park related. And then, oh look, surprise, new South Park game coming. Which, to be fair, was a big surprise, because the last one they did, they said, we're never doing this again. Making a game has been miserable. And that's why people were asked on stage, when they came out and announced it, and said, hey, why are you doing it? You said it was miserable last time. Well, we think we've learned enough. We've learned all the lessons we needed to learn from the last one. We think we can do it pretty easily this time.
Next minute.
So, and then next minute it's been delayed twice, so... Guess we'll see how that one goes.
You could say it's fractured, but whole.
But it's not whole, or it'll be released.
Well, that's it. They're still working on the cracks.
Yeah, I guess so. That crack right down the middle.
The fractured part.
Put it right down there with some Sealy's No More gaps. Gonna hurt when you poop, though. So it's my turn this week for Retro Game of the Week. Because you dropped one last week, which was pretty good.
Yep, what you got?
My Retro Game of the Week. It's actually Tetris.
Tetris, yeah.
You can play it in any form you want, but the one I'm actually talking about is the version they released on the Nintendo. Not Super Nintendo, the Nintendo.
Not the Game Boy.
No, not the PC, PS3, everything else that's had a Tetris game. That's one thing that kind of annoys me. Tetris is listed as the highest selling game of all time.
That's hilarious.
But it's kind of not, because they're counting every single form of Tetris. So, every version of Tetris that has ever come out, like Tetris Blast, Tetris Ultra, Tetris whatever, on every single device that's ever come out on, they're like, let's just put that on the Tetris count, which is kind of dodgy. Because, you've got Wii Sports up there, which also annoys me, because that was a pack-in game. So if the console moved, you get that.
Yeah.
That's like a cheat way to win. Come on, guys. But yes, Tetris. Tetris is the retro game of the week.
Awesome. Tetris was cool.
Yeah. So, Silva, what are your plans gaming-wise this week?
Well, I probably will spend some time on Halo Wars. Still got a bit of time for Verona. And I'm still playing Stardew Valley.
No, not again.
What do you mean, not again? I'm 103 hours into the same game.
Oh, God.
Last night I started a second playthrough just because, the first time you play through, you go through the community centre style of things.
Yeah.
And I've decided that for the second playthrough I'll jump on the Joja Mart.
Which, by the way, is the company that you were so depressed working at that there was literally a guy hanging himself in one of your cubicles.
See, I didn't see the hanging part.
Yeah, I think it was cut, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think it was. There was
I remember it being in the PC version.
There was an empty desk with the word retired written on it.
I remember it being on the PC version. I definitely didn't see it on the console version.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Well, that was version 1.0 or so. Now we're on 1.1. But yes, there was that guy. And again, obviously, it was the thing that broke your spirit so severely you had to leave. And now you're like, I'll go support him.
Doesn't mean you have to work for them. I mean, there was other people there working for him, and they seemed quite happy to live that miserable life.
Yeah, but you're going to give them that patronage now. What are you doing, mate?
Yeah. What does it matter as long as they make everyone else's life easier?
Yeah. What about the cave on your property? You going to do the other option with that one too?
I I don't know if there was 2 options available for me when I did the first playthrough. I don't know what the other options are, if there are other options.
Well, there's 2.
There's that or there's mushrooms.
Yeah, what did you go with?
I went with mushrooms.
Yeah, that's what I did in my first playthrough. So you're going to do the other one this time?
I really don't know. I found mushrooms useful because mushrooms make health potions.
Yeah. You could also
And
just
when
eat.
you get a surplus of mushrooms, it sells well. I mean, I know fruit would sell better.
Yeah. And
But,
you can also put the fruit in one of the jam machine things.
Yes, the preserving machine,
The preserve jars, yep. And then they go huge, because they go,
That's
3
true.
times the value, I think, once you put them in the preserve jar?
Yeah. I do the same with wine. I make up wine and then put it in the cellar
Yep.
and turn it into the purple star and sell it. It makes a mint.
Okay.
But I'm kind of at the point now that I've got all that done, whereas money is no longer a bit.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, it's not really a problem, is it?
Well, no, I just, look, to finish off the main playthrough, I need a flaming rabbit foot.
Yeah, I remember M's Forever was waiting for one of those for a long goddamn time.
Yeah.
Yeah, just make a knife, go in there and cut it off yourself. You'll be fine.
Well, see, I went and got a rabbit, and I assumed that's what we'd be doing. So I named him Dinner.
Oh, no, they sort of drop like an egg, but
They do.
it's not as frequent.
No, so I've named the rabbit Dinner. So every time you go into the rabbit hutch, and you pat the rabbit to increase its chance of dropping stuff.
Yep.
It says Dinner's looking fine. I'm like, yes, it is.
That's disturbing. I've got to ask, what did you put down as your when you make your character? It says, what's your favorite thing?
Oh, the first time round was anime.
That's disturbing.
Your mind fills with pictures of anime.
You know, it's a dish you make at one point. It says, tastes just like, and then it puts your favorite thing. I was just going to say, tastes just like anime.
In that case, you should change anime to waifu, huh?
Oh, bro, you've messed that one up. God damn. I put pizza, so mine's fine. Tastes just like pizza. No one cares. You're golden. Tastes just like anime. God damn, man.
Hilarious. Well, I didn't know that when I was starting the game, did I?
No. Oh, I only knew
thing?
because someone posted a screenshot where it says, tastes just like dick.
Oh, what?
Yeah, they put dick as their favorite thing.
Oh, disturbing.
So, I mean, that's a pretty bad soup. What have you been stirring it with? I'm going to assume dicks.
That is so wrong, man.
Just a gaggle of doodles.
So wrong.
Yeah, very much so. So yeah, my plans for the week would be finish Halo Wars 2, probably start going back through campaign, bits and pieces with you on co-op.
Yep.
Because I think that'll be pretty fun. Then I've got to jump onto For Honor, and I think that's it for the week.
See you night.
A friend of mine's going to pick up Sniper Elite. Might go back through that with him.
Yep.
And that'll be about it, I think. Bit of a quiet week. I've got the NBA All-Star game tomorrow, so I'm busy then.
Well, there is the multiplayer for Sniper Elite, so we could always, the 3 of us, go through and have a bit of a punt.
That's true. Actually, too, bit of a heads up. We're going to have to record the podcast early next week.
Okay.
I have a Bucks party Saturday night.
Hoi.
So I will be in no condition to record a podcast.
So you give us a buzz, let us know when you're good.
Yeah, will do. The podcast will be recorded early, but it'll be up at the same time for you guys. So if anything happens news-wise after that, you'll know why we haven't talked about it. Pretty easy to understand. Also, the iTunes version is still coming. Still working on it. It's going to take me a little while. Hopefully this week. Hopefully. Anyway, guys, I'm Rusty Man. I've been joined by Silvawolf.
See you later, guys.
And we'll catch you next time. See ya.